After nearly a decade of anticipation, the long-awaited sequel to The Accountant, the 2016 action thriller starring Ben Affleck, is finally on its way. Fans of the first film, which combined high-octane action with a gripping psychological narrative, have eagerly awaited news of a second installment. Now, director Gavin O'Connor has opened up about the hurdles and delays that kept The Accountant 2 from happening sooner and how he and Affleck ultimately fought to bring the sequel to life. ###The journey from The Accountant to its sequel. Released in 2016, The Accountant was a unique blend of action, drama, and psychological intrigue. Ben Affleck starred as Christian Wolff, a highly skilled accountant with autism who moonlights as a freelance forensic accountant for dangerous criminal organizations. The film, directed by Gavin O'Connor, featured an impressive supporting cast, including Anna Kendrick, Jon Bernthal, and J.K. Simmons. It was well received by both audiences and critics, praised for its action sequences, Affleck's performance, and its compelling storyline. The film also performed well at the box office, grossing over $155 million worldwide against a modest production budget of $44 million. Given its financial success and the open-ended nature of its conclusion, a sequel seemed inevitable. However, as time went on, there was little movement on a second installment, leaving fans wondering if The Accountant would ever return to the big screen. ###Studio roadblocks and creative control. According to director Gavin O'Connor, the delay in producing The Accountant 2 was largely due to ongoing changes and complications within Warner Bros. O'Connor revealed in a recent interview that he and Affleck had actually begun making plans for the sequel as early as 2018. The two had struck a deal with the studio to move forward with the film, but a series of internal shakeups at Warner Bros. Derailed their efforts. There was a bit of a revolving door and musical chairs going on at Warner Bros. "We made the deal to write the next movie in 2018, O'Connor explained. However, during this period, Warner Bros. Underwent significant leadership changes, causing instability and uncertainty for several projects, including The Accountant 2. This led to numerous delays and miscommunications that left the sequel in limbo. The situation grew even more complicated when Affleck launched his own production company, Artists Equity, with his longtime collaborator Matt Damon. With Affleck now heading his own studio, there were additional hurdles in determining whether Warner Bros. Or Artists Equity would have creative control over the sequel. O'Connor admitted that, at one point, the negotiations became frustratingly unclear. "I don't know if there were complications with Warner Bros. And Artists Equity doing a co-studio kind of deal," he said. "Once Ben had his studio, we were like, if you're not going to make it, don't hijack it and not allow us to go pursue this film we've been trying to make now for 8 years. ###The turning point, how The Accountant 2 finally happened. The breaking point for O'Connor and Affleck came when they realized Warner Bros. Was reluctant to move forward but also unwilling to relinquish the rights to the film. Frustrated by the stalemate, they issued an ultimatum to the studio. Either allow them to proceed with the sequel or step aside and let them take the project elsewhere. This pressure seemed to have worked. Eventually, Warner Bros. Agreed to proceed with the sequel, allowing O'Connor and Affleck to reunite and finally bring their vision to life. With Jon Bernthal and J.K. Simmons also returning, The Accountant 2 promises to bring back the intensity and intrigue that made the original a success. The sequel is now officially slated for release on April 25, 2026, marking exactly 10 years since the first film hit theaters. While Anna Kendrick's involvement remains uncertain, fans are already excited to see Affleck and Bernthal reprise their roles as estranged brothers Christian and Braxton Wolff, whose complicated relationship played a crucial role in the first film. ###. What to expect from The Accountant 2. Though specific plot details remain under wraps, The Accountant 2 is expected to delve deeper into Christian Wolff's past, exploring more of his upbringing and relationship with his family. Given that the first film ended with a tease of Christian and Braxton reconnecting, many speculate that the sequel will further develop their dynamic, possibly teaming them up for a dangerous new mission. O'Connor has hinted that the second film will expand upon the action and character development seen in the original. "We always envisioned this story as a trilogy," he said in a previous interview. "The first film was about Christian's personal journey, and the next one will explore his evolution as he steps into a larger world of intrigue and danger." With Affleck's newfound creative freedom under Artists Equity, many believe that The Accountant 2 will benefit from a more focused and passionate approach. His dedication to the project, combined with O'Connor's direction and the return of key cast members, suggests that the sequel will live up to the high expectations set by the original. ### Ben Affleck's return to action. For Ben Affleck, reprising the role of Christian Wolff marks a return to one of his most well-received action roles. Affleck, who has had a diverse and successful career spanning decades, has played a variety of complex characters, from the brooding Batman in Zack Snyder's Justice League to his Academy Award-winning work in Argo. However, The Accountant stood out as a film that allowed Affleck to showcase both his physical prowess and his ability to portray a nuanced character. Many fans consider it one of his strongest performances, and his return to the role is highly anticipated. With his personal investment in artist equity and a strong creative team behind him, there is hope that The Accountant 2 will be a worthy successor to the original. #The future of The Accountant franchise. O'Connor and Affleck have both suggested that The Accountant 2 might not be the final chapter in Christian Wolff's story. If the sequel performs well, there is a strong possibility of a third installment, completing the trilogy that the filmmakers originally envisioned. While nothing has been officially confirmed beyond the second film, fans can take comfort in knowing that Affleck and O'Connor are committed to telling more of Christian Wolff's story. If The Accountant 2 proves to be as successful as its predecessor, it may only be a matter of time before a third installment is greenlit. Conclusion. After years of uncertainty, The Accountant 2 is finally becoming a reality, thanks to the persistence and passion of Ben Affleck and Gavin O'Connor. Despite studio politics and numerous delays, the duo fought to bring their vision to life, ensuring that fans will once again see Christian Wolff in action. With a confirmed release date of April 25, 2026, audiences can look forward to a thrilling sequel that builds upon the original while setting the stage for an even bigger story. As excitement builds, one thing is clear: The Accountant franchise is far from over, and Christian Wolff's journey is only just beginning.